Yes, yeah, we are live. We just established the fact we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sunday School Carnivore. It's great to have you with us, and I'm very pleased to report we've actually got the full team with us this week. Because, as you're probably aware, John got lost at sea last week and wasn't actually able to make it. But I'm glad to say that he is definitely with us tonight. So, as we know, John is the head teacher or principal of Sunday School Carnival. So, yeah, he is the main man. I've got no doubt we will hear about his 60th birthday celebrations later on, which was a cruise. But we will talk about that later. Now, obviously, he is the main man. It's his channel. So if this was a Bond franchise, a Bond movie franchise, he would definitely play the role of M, which leads me nicely into who would play the role of Miss Moneypenny. And, of course, it is our own lovely Stephanie. And as we know, nobody in their right mind would. But what I can tell you is that whenever I ask people to estimate Steph's age, it always comes out in the late 20s and early 30s. So we'll leave it at that, shall we? Anyway, so Steph is now the administrator, if you like. She is in charge of the technical side of things and in charge of the chat. So behave yourselves in chat. She will be very, very busy in chat with you. And she will be the moderator. As for myself, I am your 59-year-old carnivore friend from the town of Bridgewater in Somerset, which is right down in the rural part of the world, which is cattle country and sheep country, more of which we shall be hearing about later. At this point, I will give you a little known fact about myself, and that is that before I discovered carnivore, it's been thoroughbred horse racing. Since about the age of 5, I've had a huge interest in the history of the game, from Man of War through to Secretariat, Nijinsky and and I've got a massive interest in the pedigree side of things. Now, that led me last year to join forces with a young man called John, who has launched his racehorse training career. And we bought a few horses together and we recruited a good team around him. I'm now happy to move on because he's got a very professional team around him. And I'm focusing now on Team Carnivore rather than Team Barford Park Racing. But that is one fact about me, which I haven't mentioned much under the Carnivore banner. And that is the fact that I do love my horse racing and my thoroughbreds. Anyway, so that will go into our guests tonight. We have with us all the way from Lander in Wyoming, Tyler McCann, who is the organizer of the Rendezvous City Beef Roundup, which I will be going to this year by pure chance. And we also have with us Sharon from Winbourne in Dorset in the UK. And we will ask Sharon to start the proceedings by introducing herself. She has a long and interesting history. So Sharon, please do tell us about how you found your way to Carnivore by a long and circuitous route.
Okay, thank you. I'm Sharon and I'm 60 and I'm thriving on Carnivore. 2 years ago, I was sleeping 2 hours a night and struggling with low energy. Now I sleep like the dead and I'm metabolically healthy. Keto and carnivore stop my severe vertigo and nausea. Today, I'm in the top 3% of metabolically healthy adults for my age group. My biggest healing tools are 3, and that's sunlight, sleep, grounding, and circadian rhythm. And I'm here to share what's possible with simple, powerful changes.
Brilliant, Sharon. Okay, so I understand that you actually started life as a personal trainer back in the 80s before it was really sort of a popular thing. And then you went on to be a chef on glamorous yachts. So you security for these people. So we kind of share a bit of background there. And then I understand that you were actually diagnosed with Meniere's disease, which is something of great interest to me because my son-in-law actually has been recently diagnosed with possible Meniere's disease. So would you like to tell us about how you were a personal trainer and how you graduated through the chefing on the yachts and eventually found out that you had Meniere's disease? We'd love to hear about that particular side of the story.
Okay, well, I have done lots of things in my life. And when I left school, I actually trained as a secretary, which is probably one of the most useful skills that I have today because my typing speeds are very quick. But now with technology, you can press the button and record, and it types for you. But that's still a very useful skill. I did that for many years. And yes, eventually in the 80s, from about the age of 18, fitness has always been part of my life. And I used to go to the old fashioned gyms where, the big guys used to train because there wasn't any fancy schmancy gyms with all the fancy equipment like there is today, air conditioning and great equipment. I was, training with, the old-fashioned equipment and free weights. And then in the sort of mid-80s, I trained as a personal trainer. In fact, I was one of the UK's first personal trainers when nobody even knew what a personal trainer was. I used to have to say, I'm a personal fitness trainer. And that was about the time that Princess Di had a personal trainer as well. So, that would be helpful to explain to people because she was always in the news and in and out the gyms. And I've cooked for as long as I can remember. I was taught how to cook at school, which isn't taught anymore. Always watch my mum cooking, my grandma cooking. It was, today it's looked at as quite extraordinary if you can actually get in the kitchen and make a meal. So I was in personal training for several years, and that was great. And so cooking. So while I was doing personal training, I've always cooked, and then I went to college. In fact, it was probably around the time I think when I was married, and I decided to go to college. And in fact, I was living in Essex, and there's a very big catering college in Walthamstow. So I went there for a year, and off the back of that, in the 80s, I did director's dining. I went to London, and I would get a phone call in the morning from an agency to say something like, the chef can't come in, she's ill, gone on holiday, whatever. And I would literally go into London in the banks and those big, blue chip institutions, into the director's dining area, and they had their own kitchen and cook. So, and then one day I got a phone call from a very good friend of mine who asked me how would I like to go to the West Indies and work on a catamaran. Well, of course, I said yes. And that was really very exciting because she had a friend in business who was very wealthy, and he had just bought a yacht in the West Indies, wanted to put it into charter, and was looking for a chef. So that was good timing, and she recommended me, and the job was mine purely on the recommendation. So I did that for 7 years, and that was fantastic. I mean, I just saw some of the most beautiful places on earth. I have traveled the whole length of the West Indies, from Turks and Caicos, British Virgin Islands, all the way down to Trinidad and Tobago, but I never made it to Jamaica. So that was fantastic, but it was it's very high energy work, really high energy work, and it had a lifespan. And then I came back to the UK, and in fact, that's how I got into fermentation, because I was based on the French island of St. Martin, and when I wasn't working, because I would go away for charters for up to 10 days, and then I would come back, and that was my time off, and I would hang out at the fabulous patisserie and have their wonderful breads. And then when I came back to the UK, I thought, well, making bread is easy, but what's all this sourdough malarkey about? And this was in about 2007, and that's how I got into sourdough and teaching classes.
Okay. That's brilliant. We'll come back to the Meniere's disease actually, Daisy, because that's something of interest. But we'll ask.
Oh, sorry.
No. Yeah. That's fine, Sharon. We'll come back to that. But it's time to ask Tyler to introduce himself, all the way from Wyoming. A man that I met on Dr. Kilt's when he did his live with Dr. Kilt. As a matter of fact, I'm on doing the Friday 6 a.m. meetup coming up this Friday. Anyway, I'd like to introduce yourself. Tell us all about how you got into how you started with horses, I believe, and then got into cattle ranching, and how the beef roundup came into being. That'd be great to hear.
Yeah. So, well, thank you for having me join you all. So looking forward to George. Whole angle for doing this is that I'm trying to get Stephanie jealous enough of she comes with you too. I have an angle for this. But actually in Denver, in downtown Denver, Colorado, and parents had some horseback horses, and thing that we share in I shod thoroughbred racehorses at Delaware. So we can talk about when you're here. I'm just gonna have to ride in the pickup with me the whole weekend so that we can get. But so ended up I riding some horses for a very large ranch in Wyoming that my future father-in-law was managing at the time. Obviously, I had no idea that was going to happen, but rode there for his daughter came home from school in the fall to help ride and gather all the cattle about September, October. So we maintained a relationship and eventually started dating, and it was time for her to move back to the ranch, and I followed and rancher that married a 5th generation rancher, and our daughter to stay able to full living. They seem to share quite a bit of interest in it and really enjoy. They both have separate passions, but they really enjoy what we do. They get out and they ride. The two of them are better than a pack of dogs when it comes to moving cows. And we just, in the meantime, we started a direct-to-consumer business. We run about 600 cows. So yeah, full-time. I'm going to take you out. Wyoming, if you draw an X from corner to corner across the state of Wyoming, where that X intersects dead center in the state of Wyoming, mile ranch. I'll give you a little point of reference. You will be 8 miles from the middle of nowhere when you're at the ranch.
I'm very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, and so part of our direct to consumer marketing business was that, we had a few steers that for cosmetic reasons, really, because the majority of our business is still a commercial cattle ranch. As a matter of fact, we just sold our one big load of commercial steers the other day on a video auction, and they sold for a new record high. I mean, they're just the cattle prices. It's a very, very good time to be a rancher. But there are always those cattle that aren't as attractive in a commercial business, and we wanted to try and find a way to capture some that we were losing out on those. In Wyoming, you can get time. There's several videos and pictures of 4th of July rodeos that get snowed out. I believe it was August last year or 2 years ago that was the only month in Wyoming that we didn't have snow. So, but especially in spring, you can get very quick moving, very violent storms, and that's typically when we're calving. And one of the side effects of that is that you get frozen ears and frozen tails on the baby calves. And if it's really bad, you'll even get a little freezing around their nose and mouth. Um, and they can come back and do very well from that, but it is a cosmetic blemish that tells a buyer that those have been through some hardship at some point and they're not. So we wanted to try and find a way to capture some of that value because at the time, those better commercial calves were going through the sale barn for anywhere between $900 and $1,100. And that cosmetically blemished calf is going to go through and be $300 to $400. So it was quite a discrepancy, and we just started feeding them, and we did kind of similar to what our grandparents and great grandparents did. We put them in a small grass pasture behind the house. We fed them twice a day. Every time somebody walked by, you fed the steers a little bit of corn oats and barley. And when all the corn oats and barley were gone, we got an appointment to butcher them. And we were blown away by the flavor that we had produced with these simple little steers. And so we did it again. And that led to the first year we butchered two, and fast forward to 2020, and we did 20 beef in 2020. And by 2023, we were doing 80 beef a year and selling them wholesale to restaurants, retail into local farmers markets, and then whole and half beef as well to customers. And the one comment that we constantly got that we didn't know, we were always honored, but we didn't know what to do, was this is, and led to, in my competitive racehorse mind, why is there not a way to quantify that? You look at any other business, beer, food, bread, there is some sort of culminating event that crowns the best of that industry. And the beef business is a multi-billion-dollar a year. Just in the US alone, it's a $3 billion a year plus business. And there wasn't anything like that available. So the first year, every rancher that we could find that was doing direct-to-consumer marketing, and we asked the chance to win a belt buckle that said they indeed were the best beef in Wyoming. We got 8 takers. So we sold tickets. We had a chef cook all of the same. We kept it as best we could. And we served everyone. You got a 1-ounce portion from each of the 8 different ranches, and you got to vote on what was the best beef in Wyoming. And that ultimately led to other producers from around the country contacting me to see how they could compete. So the second year, we had the best beef in the West that we added to the best beef in Wyoming. And now we have, I believe it's 5 divisions. This year, we're going to unveil a new one. Maybe George should give out the buckle for the new division. It's it's the best retail shop in America. And so we've got a best regenerative beef, best beef in the West, best beef in Wyoming, best regenerative beef, and best food truck as well. So we just keep adding every year, and the event grows in spite of me.
That's brilliant, Tom. It really is. I'm so looking forward to coming into Riverton. I haven't really been to the States very much. I went when I was about 2 years of age. but I don't really remember too much about that apart from Niagara Falls. And I visited briefly New York shortly after the first Gulf War, met up with a friend of mine from the USMC, but that was only a brief flying visit. So this is kind of a new adventure for me. I'll be flying into Denver from Heathrow and spending 3 hours at Denver Airport. Somebody has kindly told me how to negotiate Denver Airport. Then I'll be flying into Riverton shortly before midnight, and I hope to get a taxi maybe from Riverton's, maybe the Gator Creek taxi service, which I've been told about. And then I think
they'll take good care of you.
Brilliant. And then it's about a 10-minute ride into the Holiday Inn where I'll be staying, in which I understand is only a couple of blocks away from where the day 2 and 3 of the event will be taking place. But I shall be able to walk to that. But I should definitely be relying on you to get me to day 1, which I understand is, as you say, some way out in the countryside at Lander, I believe, which is the next town over from Riverton.
So we'll hit Lander. We start 8 a.m. and we actually, for those people like yourself that have the Ultimate Carnivore Pass, we do a really fun day. Not all of our celebrity guests will be there on that Friday, but we do have several of them that join us for that day. We go and we do a private tour of a USDA inspected processing plant that's here in Riverton. The owner, and she business will process 3,600 of their own cattle this year to be marketed under their brand name. And so that's a fun, bring a light jacket for that one, because it is very chilly in the processing plants. But yeah, a lot of people, it brings it full circle for people as much as you've enjoyed, and I tell people that I've got to see both sides of the steak. I grew up in some high-end restaurants that my uncle owned, and I had no clue what it took to put a steak on a plate. And now, having raised and finished and processed our own beef, a lot of people aren't aware of just how immense a beef is. And when you get to stand in a cooler that's filled with 50 or 60 beef, it really brings it home for what a process this is to get this beef to the plate. So you'll get to see a little bit of fabrication that day. Steaks right off of the counter, and we're going to take them down to one of the I think we've got somebody catering this year's carnivore lunch, but we'll throw them on one of the grills. So you're going to take one right out of the processing plant and throw it on a grill, and that'll be lunch. And then we'll head out to the ranch, and I'll drop you in the middle of nowhere for a minute out at my office where you can see kind of what we do. Our one summer range pasture is 56 square miles. So that's all within one fence. And you kind of get when you can't see pavement or power lines or telephone pole, there's nothing but sagebrush out there. So we'll do that, and then we'll go and meet up with all the other producers over in Lander and have a good time. We'll have another meal and a party.
That sounds absolutely fabulous. Yeah, so I'm so looking forward to it. I really can't wait, to be perfectly honest with you. But yeah, we better not. I better not just spend the whole of the hour asking you about what's going to be happening there, because we do have other people with us as well. So yeah, John, we haven't really spoken to you yet. You're just back from your 60th birthday celebrations, and you went on a cruise. Can you give us the 5-minute rundown on how it all went, and how you enjoyed it, and how you managed to stay carnivore on the cruise?
Yes, I am, young man. You're only 59. Well, I'll try to keep it short. Turned 60 on July 16th. The concept just seems old to me when I just see it and think about it. But I feel 29 or 30, thanks to carnivore, thanks to being super healthy and agile. And I have no aches or pains or any problems thanks to this way of eating. I've been doing it for almost 3 years. And I've been low carb for over 6.5 years. So took a cruise in the Caribbean, mentioned some of the islands, and it was a 7-day cruise on celebrity Beyond, which had engine problems on the last day. And we heard over the loudspeaker that we're not coming back on time. They have to go less than half the speed. Luckily, we got back, but we got back much later in the afternoon. And then it turns out everybody on the next cruise had to get canceled. And that ship had to go in for repair for an entire week. And today, this is Sunday, it's finally back out in service again. So we're kind of lucky we got back. I really could have been stranded if the engine didn't work. It was wonderful. I've been on many cruises. We live in South Florida, very close to the port. So we take an Uber to one of 3 ports. It's a very affordable, wonderful vacation. So just to make it real quick, I go to the main restaurant where I eat on the first day, and I have the conversation. I bring my card that says allergy card, and it lists all the seed oils, okay, and all the oil, all the fats that I would like them to cook my meat or fish in. And I always pre-order my meals the day before, and they have it ready for me, so it's easy. They realize after a few days that my meal is the easiest one to make. It's a plate with meat. And they sometimes get confused. Don't you want this with it? And don't you want the vegetable? What about what about? And I'm like, no, just meat. Bring me butter, meat, more butter. And then the fish is wonderful. I tell them, bathe it in butter. Just cook the sucker in butter. Comes out. I love it. It's wonderful. So I ate like a king in the private restaurants. And then for lunch, there's the wonderful buffet on Celebrity, and I go directly to the carving station, and they always have either lamb or roast beef or pork. And I ask them to carve off a section that's the fattiest section that looks kind of rare, medium rare. And I just fill up my plate with that, butter. So I do my 2 meals a day on the cruise, just like I would at home. I actually eat less on a cruise because at home I can control the portions a little bit more than the restaurant. But for me, it's more about the destination, the ship, the environment. And so I celebrated my birthday. I got a cutting board with my handle, the Carnivore teacher on it. I got some steak knives as gifts. Everything was carnivore related. I'm so happy. And just had a wonderful birthday. They came in, the crew came in and put balloons in the stateroom and happy birthday all over the place. I got sung happy birthday too. It was and the weather was beautiful. So that was my cruise adventure and how I stayed carnivore on a cruise, which for me, I'm a abstainer. I can't moderate. So I just don't have anything. I don't have a single cookie, a single anything. I just stay carnivore. And to me, my personality, it's simple. When you just eat meat, fish, and eggs. And that's what I did. It was wonderful.
That's fabulous. Yeah, talking about cruising, I noticed in the conversation there that Rick and Stephanie are about to run off together on a cruise somewhere. But it's got to be a Carnival cruise. Now, this is reminding me of Dr. Lisa Wiedemann. I believe that she actually organises Carnival cruises. So Rick and Steph, if you wish to elope off on a cruise together, I would suggest the Lisa Wiedemann Carnival cruise. Steph, it looks like you know something. You've heard of them. Can you elaborate on that?
I have, but first of all, we've had a lady in the comment who says, "Could you do a competition so I can win a 3-day pass, flights, and hotel, please?"
That's really weird because she's got exactly the surname as me. Could that possibly be my wife? I wonder.
Yeah, look at that. How'd that happen?
Yeah, exactly. No, actually, I've got to hand it to Lainey. Tyler, when I first heard that I'd won, I thought, no, I can't possibly leave Lainey. But having had a night of doubt, I woke up the next morning and basically Lainey said, "You are going to Wyoming." It's as simple as that. This is the opportunity of a lifetime. So big thank you to my wife Lainey for allowing me to come and join you over in Wyoming. Her biggest fear, or maybe her biggest hope, is I love it so much that I won't actually come back. But I have assured her, yeah, I definitely will. I'm not saying I won't come out again though, that's for sure. But I will be coming back this time. So anyway, Steph, yeah, Lisa Wiedemann, she does Carnival cruises, doesn't she?
She does, and they look good, and it looks like a lot of fun. I would love to do it, actually. I never wanted to go on a cruise when I was younger. It looked like something for old people. So I'm not sure what it means that now I'm quite keen to go on a cruise and break my cruise virginity, if you will. But it'd be great if a group of us all went to this carnivore cruise, hung out with other carnivores. Oh, I'm excited now.
Oh, we'd have a blast. We'd have a blast.
It sounds good. I think we'll have to look into that. And I'll say Rick looks keen as well, apart from he says the only cruise he goes on is in his rowboat down the canal hunting iguanas. So maybe that'll be a first for Rick as well. Anyway, Sharon, so we'll come back to you now, I think, because you've given us a great backstory about how you got back to the UK. Or understand that you misfortune befell you in the shape of Meniere's disease, and you've spoken of it was, I think the word you used was vile. You suffered vertigo and were like to fall. Was this the reason why can you tell us about Meniere's disease, and was it the reason why you chose Carnivore?
Well, my Meniere's, in fact, I've got secondary Meniere's, and the secondary cause for me was a viral infection, and I had mumps as a child, and mumps is a viral infection. And yes, I was vaccinated with MMR, measles, mumps, and rubella, and I still got mumps. So the secondary cause was the viral infection, and what that included was hearing loss, vertigo, nausea, and tinnitus. And it's common for vertigo and nausea to happen decades later as an adult. And that happened with me. And my tinnitus started in my 20s, and I got my first severe vertigo in my 40s. So I knew from a child that, this is what I had to look forward to at some point. But the attacks with secondary Meniere's happen infrequently, and some can happen many months or even years apart. But when I had my vertigo, it all seemed to come along, like buses all at once. And, I was getting fairly regular vertigo, and it was severe. I mean, it just literally brought me to the floor. And there seemed no rhyme or reason for it. So I went to an ENT. My doctor at the time was useless. So I went to an ENT, and this was in my in my 40s when I came back from the West Indies, and so he confirmed the secondary Meniere's, and he prescribed beta histamine, which are just little tablets, and whenever I got my vertigo attacks, I would take a tablet, and they kicked in very quickly, thank God. But in the lead up to that, I was really thinking, how can I live like this? It's just awful, really. Vile is really the word to use. So anyway, so I had the beta histamine, and then I really was, I thought, well, that's going to, I was told, I'd be taking them for the rest of my life whenever I got these vertigo and nausea attacks that didn't have any rhyme or reason. And then I came across, this is quite a few years later. I mean, I've been carnivore for 1.5 years, and I've been keto for 6 months, so a total of 2 years. So I didn't discover keto until 2 years ago. And well, once I'd gone keto, guess what? All the nausea and the vertigo stopped, and I haven't had an attack since then. My tinnitus is generally it's very quiet. I mean, when you first get tinnitus, it's incredibly distressing and depressing and all the rest of it, but then you do live with it, and mine generally, mine settled down. But it's certainly got quieter, much quieter with keto and carnivore. So that is my health on keto and carnivore, and that's my number one motivation to stick with this way of life, which is just wonderful. I mean, the most fantastic food, and
I mean, it's incredible what Carnivore sorts out, because my story is type 2 diabetes, and that is one of the common ones out there. But we have Diane Ladd from Boston. We have Rebecca, my friend over in Spain. Both have sorted out MS, multiple sclerosis, and lots of strange ones as well. Ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease. The healing of carnivore is just unbelievable. It really is. We hear more and more each day, which is absolutely, it's just a wonderful thing. But anyway, we'll go back to Tyler, because we spoke at length about the day one of the roundup, which I got so excited about. I completely forgot to mention day two, because I understand that day two is the general entrance day for the is it $100 a ticket for the general entrance, I think, Tyler?
It is. So I've been catching up with you on your great carnivore meetup there as well. So afterwards, I can tell you all the pitfalls of planning one of these big events and what you've got to expect in the next few days. But yeah, we have some great speakers, Kevin and Noel on their book, The Cow is How. My wonderful friend Angela Laro, she is one of the most amazing people you'll ever meet. We have obviously Dr. Kiltz, and one of my personal heroes, Mike Calicrate, a man from Colorado that's been doing direct marketing for since the 80s. So really some great speakers. Bella Ma, the steak and butter gang, she's coming. They had their wedding here at our house last year, and so that was a great time. So yeah, we have the general public. We have some great local shops that bring in a booth and set up. So there's some local wear. We have we have a wonderful beef tallow based business that's right here in Riverton. She actually custom makes a chapstick for us. It's the 5-Star Cowboy. So yeah, we just have some great businesses that set up, some great speakers that we have going. I think Angela Laro is going to do a cooking demonstration. So it's a fun day. That's the day that we do all of our different tastings. We have our celebrity judges, and then we also have our Wyoming division, which you can buy a ticket to. We do serve about 80 people at that. It's kind of a VIP experience, and you get to try between 8 and 10 different. Sometimes, obviously we try and get 10. It's a good round number, but people have, things that come up. This is wildfire season here, and so we don't always have all 10 ranches show up, but it is a great time for all the producers to get together and get to try some beef. Everybody always asks me which my favorite beef is for the day, and it's usually the one that I get to taste, because I end up running around like a madman to keep all the fires put out during the event, and I typically get to taste maybe 1 or 2 of the beef during the day.
No, that's fabulous. So if somebody wanted to come to the day two on the $100 ticket, they would go to the website. Is it definitely $100, or is there any form of discount system?
Yep. We got a discount code for you today. It is active. I tried it just a few minutes before we started. It is #school. Will save you $20 if you're in the neighborhood of Riverton, Wyoming. Please come out and join us and use that #school and save a couple of bucks and come and meet George.
Yep, I will be there. Probably in my fat hat. I don't know if you're aware, Tyler, but in the UK, in England, this is the flat cap such as this is kind of the indicator of a countryman. It is what farmers and racing people and hunting people wear. So yeah, I shall probably wear this unless you can find me a decent cowboy hat, I suppose, for want of a better word. I'm not sure how it works over there. But of course, our image of the cowboy over here is John Wayne in his movies, and he always wears a hat of that nature. So perhaps I'll come back to one. You never know. So
we can definitely. You're in cowboy hat country. We can make that happen.
Oh, that'd be really good. And just before we finish this particular section, day 3, I understand that's kind of of a less formal affair. It's free for entry.
So this year, that's a new event. We're gonna do the Ranchers Ruck. It'll be a 5K. I have Jake Thomas, who's a 6-time national champion physique model. I have Dr. Nick, who is literally Dr. Nick and Dr. Chafee are, if you've never met them and stood next to them, they are absolute animals. And then to be off the chart brilliant on top of that is just proof that, there are some of these outrageous humans around. But we've got some of these great big guys, and it's just going to be a fun day. On day 2, we are going to start a whole beef roast on a spit, which I have done periodically the last couple of summers. And so I've selected this year, the steer's name is going to be Surprise. He was one of our dairy crosses that was a surprise. And so we're going to take him in for processing here in a couple of weeks. And we'll put him on a spit and we'll start roasting him on Saturday morning. The guys will cook him throughout the night. And on Sunday, we'll serve the community a free lunch. All day Sunday, the 24th, is free for anyone to join us. We're going to give away a ton of prizes. We have sponsors from around the country. Go Ruck, Carnivore Bar, and Camp Chef have all donated over $10,000 worth of products for us to give away. So we'll get you some Carnivore bars while you're here. They are one of my staples for me. And we're going to do this. We're going to do 4 laps around our event center, and in between, it's our county fairground. And so each lap, we're going to go into the arena and there'll be a different ranchers challenge. We're going to do the Rancher Maggie challenge that you've seen. Why can't I say his name now? He did it with Dr. Sean Baker, Healing Humanity. You're going to put 60 pounds in each hand and you're going to try and walk a quarter of a mile. So when Dr. Chafee was there with Rancher Maggie in Canada, he was actually there the week before he came down to our house for the first beef roundup he came to. He saw her grab 2 grain sacks at 82 years old, or 84 at the time, and she just walked them across the field to go feed the steers. And he thought, there's no way those are 50-pound sacks, and they were. And so that started the Rancher Maggie Challenge. So we've got a lot of fun events like that, and then we'll slice up our whole beef, and everybody's gonna have a bite of beef off of the spit.
I'm so looking forward to it. In fact, as we're talking, I think I can hear a voice coming from next door. It's my wife, Lainey, booking a flight, I think, or something. I think I can hear the jealous anyway. So there we go. Maybe next year. You never know. Okay, so as you know, we've got our own Great British Meetup happening here. It's terrifyingly close now, to be perfectly honest with you. When I came up with the brilliant idea back in sort of September, October last year, it seemed like such a long way away. I didn't have to worry about it, but it is in fact next Saturday. Steph, would you like to just sort of talk? I've kind of lost my train of thought. Can you just talk us through what the day holds for us? You probably remember better than me because you're more brainy than I am.
And that's not true, but I can talk about it, and I'll put the link in afterwards. Now, it's going to be a fantastic day. Rick, I think even you would like it. It's not the same old faces. It's new faces. And it's also going to be a party. So we're meeting at Sourdown Farm. It's in a beautiful, beautiful spot near Glastonbury in the middle of nowhere. Not quite as much in the middle of nowhere as you are, Tyler, but in the middle of nowhere nonetheless. And what we're doing there is in the morning, there's going to be some speakers, including George. There's going to be Richard Smith. There's going to be Stephen Thomas. There's going to be Lee Copus, Kent Carnivore. So lots of you will know him. And Carl Day, the other organizer. Lauren Tucker is going to be talking about her story. I'm going to be talking about my carnivore story with stage 4 cancer. And So that part is going to be going on until midday. And then at midday, we're having a fantastic feast with a hog roast and some carnivore beef burgers. And the beef is top notch. George has arranged it with his friend Ashley, who has a farm nearby and produces incredibly good tasting meat. So we're going to feast on that. And then in the afternoon, there will be a raffle, but it's really a chance for people to connect all afternoon. There's going to be not live music. There's going to be a disco. I don't think we say disco nowadays, but I'm aging myself here. There's going to be music. There's going to be music and partying all afternoon and evening so that we can all get to know each other and connect, which is what it's really about.
That's really good news. I mean, the idea behind it was the Carnivore conference has been going on for quite some time now. But I was hearing a lot of people say we don't really get a chance to mix and get to meet our fellow carnivores. So I thought, well, why not have a party instead of a full-blown conference? But we'll have, a few stories to begin with. So, but 2/3 of the day will be given over just to socialising. I know you'll be there, Steph, and I know Sharon's coming up from Wimborne and Dorset. So very much looking forward to seeing you in person. And also just to mention the fact that it's actually happening at a farm, which is a licensed premises, and that farm will be open for business to the general public the night before from 5 o'clock onwards on Friday. So anybody who's staying in the local area or who lives local or is planning on camping on the Friday night, then the farm will be open, and my friend Ashley will be doing the hog roast for that as well. That obviously won't be included in the price of the ticket, but you can buy off his team there if you so wish. So that's going to be a really, really good event. There's no question. Yeah. So really, so it's we're doing okay for time. So Steph, have we got any questions? John, have you got anything you'd like? You've been a bit quiet tonight. We kind of kept you in the background. You are the headmaster after all. So anything you'd like to say?
A few things, but not a lot. Wyoming, when I taught middle school, I used to tell the kids, and you tell me if this is still true, Tyler, there's more cattle than people in the state of Wyoming. Is that true still?
Yes.
Do we know? That's true.
Yes, that is correct.
Interesting fact, right?
Yes.
And not much to say, just doing a lot of great listening. I love hearing about everything. I wish I could go to both events. They're kind of exciting sounding.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, interesting point about Riverton. I believe that Riverton is a city of about 11,000 souls. Tyler, am I right in thinking that?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. See, I come from what's really quite a small town here in the UK, in England, called Bridgewater. But at the last census, we were up near 40,000, and that is regarded as a small town. So Riverton is going to be sort of what we would call a big village, really. But the advantage of that, of course, everybody knows each other, and it's people tend to be more friendly and that sort of thing, which I'm hoping is going to be the case. I'm very much looking forward to coming and meeting everybody over there and having a really, really, really good time. So yeah, it's been we still got a few minutes left. So let's go back to the Meniere's disease, Sharon. So you were on medications, I would imagine, for it. But
no, just when only when I had an attack, then I would take the beta histamine. Right. So no, you just wing it, and you just hope that you're not going to get an attack, and then just come on immediately. And there is no rhyme or reason. A vertigo attack could last anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. It was, but thank God, like I said, with the beta histamine, it kicked in very quickly. But I always carried those tablets in my purse or in my pocket because I just never knew when I was going to get an attack. So, but I did actually discover keto through reading the circadian code by Professor Sachin Panda. He is renowned for his research on the circadian rhythms, time-restricted eating, and the impact of light on the body clock. It's a fantastic book. I've read it twice. I've listened to the audio, and I've ordered it from my local library again to read it again. And that's how I found keto, because he talks about time-restricted eating. And this was right at the beginning of my keto journey. And it's a fantastic book. Everybody should read it.
You also mentioned I think Professor David Sinclair. He's not somebody I'm particularly familiar with. Did he have a role?
Right. No, Professor David Sinclair. This is all about blood work now. So I've got 4 years of blood work, and before I discovered keto, I was following him. I mean, he's got tenure at Harvard. He's a professor. He promotes longevity. He's a vegan. I've read his books. I've listened to him. He was one of the people, apart from Professor Tim Spector, also this is how I started my plant-based journey. And I followed both of them. And my blood work, I was with Professor Sinclair with his company Inside Tracker, which is in the US, because I didn't know where to start. This is 5 years ago. And so then I went plant-based 15 months, and I had blood work done before plant-based and after, and my health was tanking. And I didn't realize that I was dangerously low in vitamin D. And my HDL was tanking, my triglycerides were rising. Inflammation, this blood work showed I had inflammation. I also had bone pain in my shin on and off over the years, and that's a sure sign of low vitamin D. I had no idea. Absolutely no, I mean, dangerously low. So this put me at danger of various cancers, multiple sclerosis, and inflammation. And this blood tests did show I had inflammation and very low vitamin D. So, and I thought my health was okay on all this plant-based for 15 months. So, no one can tell me that not having blood tests isn't worth it, because it's just going to flag up just lots of things. So that's really how I started. And my recent blood work shows that I'm in the top 3% of metabolically healthy adults in my age group in the UK.
Absolutely,
and I'm delighted. I feel fantastic.
Oh, that's a similar story, because I think I told my story many times, but I was a type 2 diabetic who was morbidly obese. I weighed 293 pounds when I started on this journey back in March of 22. And I weighed in at 77 kilos, around the 170 pound mark this morning. So 123 pounds down. So as Kerry Mann would say, that is 12 bowling balls, 12 10-pin bowling balls that I'm no longer humping around with me. If it weren't for the fact that I'm actually got a legacy hernia, an inguinal hernia, I would actually be taking part in the ruck over in Riverton, because being an ex-soldier, an ex-mountaineer, having gone up the Himalayas, that sort of thing, that's the sort of challenge that I would have relished back in the old days. But I daren't risk really aggravating that hernia, because I haven't had it treated. I don't really want invasive surgery on it, so I'm trying to manage it. And one thing I can tell you is that since going carnivore and since the inflammation has gone, it is nowhere near as troublesome as it was. It doesn't burn as much as it used to. It doesn't hurt as much as it used to. But I do have to be careful of it, because sometimes if I forget myself and try and lift a 25-kilo bag of cement or something on site, then I do get a twinge. So it just reminds me that it's still there. So, yeah, I think I should be watching the likes of Dr. Chafee and everybody else doing the ruck. But I should be, having been a competitive athlete in my youth, I will be criticising, shall we say, from the side and passing wise comments. Because as with everybody, the older I get, the better I was. So
you can help carve the beef. You can mind the beef while we rock, and like you say, you can critique from the sidelines. I like it.
Exactly. Well, don't expect there to be too much beef left by the time you come back if you leave me in charge of it. But anyway, so John did successfully leave me and Stephanie in charge. Sunday School Carnivore on his channel, Carnivore Teacher, while he was away for 2 weeks. We didn't break it. We're still here, and he's back, and he's smiling. So So we can't have done too bad a job. We did have the Rick the Duck Man on for those 2 weeks, so that helped things flow. Rick has been very busy in chat tonight. I was actually dropped into Rick's own live, which lasted 8.25 hours yesterday. I didn't drop in for the whole thing, but I did say hello to Rick, and I can assure you, Rick, that I will attempt to at least put in a cameo appearance on your Saturday lives from now on, because it was good fun chatting to you. Anyway, so we're heading towards the top of the hour now. We've got 5 minutes left, and we've got 5 people on here. So this is the point now where I go around and invite people to say how we can get in contact with everybody. I'll briefly do myself. I have a very small YouTube channel, which is George Goodenough 823, which certain members of the YouTube community out there are very determined that I should grow. And they are going to be helping me to do so. So I'm very much looking forward to that. We've taken a big step forward tonight, and I've got my head around a bit of StreamYarding, which is very good. Thanks, Steph. And I've got the lovely Dawn over in California, who will probably be watching this, Life After 60 Wrestling Witch Face. She is very keen to do some collaborations with us as well to help build it. She has been on Sunday School Carnival. So, yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. You'll find me under my own name on Facebook. And I'm also involved with various WhatsApp groups here in the UK. The people, if they want to usually find their way to us, you can always contact me on Facebook and ask about it. I think we will have, we'll be able to talk about that at the meetup as well for any Brits who out there who wish to join the Carnivore Chat UK WhatsApp group. So that's my story on social media. I'm not on Instagram, TikTok, X, or any of the others. So, yep, and that's my story. So we'll pass it along to John if you want to tell us about how we're going to contact you.
Sure. I'm Carnivore Teacher
Ooh.
on YouTube. I post to Facebook, X, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, the same video that goes on YouTube. I put out a video every day teaching. I was a teacher in my career, and now I'm still teaching. And so I continue to do that. Many lessons. Sometimes there are topics I stay with for a while. And you can leave comments and questions or even ideas, and I will talk about them in future talks on YouTube. Thrilled to be a carnivore. It is my life now. It is my health, my wealth. I listened to Sharon after she removed the toxins. She's doesn't have the tinnitus anymore. She feels great. I keep hearing stories like this, amazing transformations, all because we remove the toxins and the intense amount of sugar in the standard world diet, and we get back to eating our ancestral food that we're supposed to eat, and everything, our body breathes and it starts to repair itself. And I'm just amazed. I never get tired of hearing these amazing stories. So thank you for sharing that, Sharon.
Brilliant. Thank you for that, John. Okay, over to Steph, just to the happy, sexy, healthy person in the corner. Can you tell us how you came about that handle?
It would take more than a minute, but but I just believe everyone should be happy, sexy as in vibrant and healthy. And so I'm at Happy Sexy Health on YouTube. I have put the subscription links for Carnivore Teacher John and for George. So if you haven't subscribed to them on YouTube, please do. And I'll pop mine in now. And that's it from me. Oh, and John has a book. John never mentions his book. So let me mention it. The Carnivore Teacher. And it's a fantastic book. And I'll put the link in the chat as well.
I'm in the process of writing my next one. It'll come out in a couple of months.
Amazing.
Brilliant. Okay, so we're getting pretty close to the school bell. John, the headmaster, doesn't like us being late for the school bell. So Sharon, over to you. Let us know how we can contact you, and or if you wish to be contacted, and I'm
on Facebook. I'm on Facebook under my name. I mean, I'm not promoting or selling anything, but if anybody wants to contact me,
absolutely. I think we're probably I'm sure we're friends on Facebook already, because that's how we originally connected, if I'm right. Yeah, so that's good. And we're on email as well, of course, and WhatsApp. So we're friends out there now. Looking forward to that. So, okay, Tyler, over to you. I imagine you probably want to tell us. There is a website, I think, for the Beef Roundup. I've been on it a few times, and any other way we can contact you, really?
Yeah, beefroundup.com, and we are Beef Roundup on Instagram. I believe it's Rendezvous City Beef Roundup on Facebook. And my personal stuff is Wyoming Cowboy Cuts. I put a few different things on there than we do the Beef Roundup page, but a lot of it gets shared back and forth. But Wyoming Cowboy Cuts on Instagram and Facebook and .com.
Ah, brilliant. Okay. Right. That is the 60 minutes school lesson complete. I believe it's Steph that's going to actually press the button tonight, but I'm just going to hand it back to John, the headmaster, just to say good night. And then we press with Steph will press the button, and that will be it.
All right. John. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Please check out each person's YouTube page or Facebook page and follow them, and see us again next Sunday for Sunday School Carnivore. Over to you, Steph.